Welcome everybody to the first ever Razz&Dazz podcast. I got my friend
Razz.
and I'm Daz. And like I said, we are doing the first ever podcast. Hopefully you guys are watching this by video, but if not, you can also be listening by audio. We got some nice mics, so hopefully you can hear us nice and clear. But Raz, we got some cool, interesting topics we're going to go over today. We're going to break down this new Laker roster with everything from Russell Westbrook, Melo, Dwight, even Rob Pelinka. But before we dive into all that, let's do a quick introduction. If no one is aware of who we are, maybe it's their first time listening. But go ahead, my man.
Thank you, Dylan. Known as former Laker Boost, right, on Instagram, which you're going to get into. But I'm Raz. Been a Laker fan since the Shaq Kobe era. You know, grew up with watching VCR tapes of the Lakers three-peat as a kid with my grandpa, and ever since then, Laker basketball and as well as basketball in general have become something, a part of my life that I just love and can't stop talking about. So I'm Raz, and we're going to pass it over to Daz, aka Dylan.
Yeah. So my name is Dylan. It's nice because I too became a Laker fan in the Kobe Shaq era. I was born a Laker fan. My dad's a Laker fan. But I do think what's cool about this podcast is that Raz and I come from the same generation. We didn't get to experience the Magic, Kareem era in real time. But we obviously have history. We have videos to go back on. But we really start our journey as Laker fans with that Kobe Shaq era, which is cool to say. And so we've been blessed as Laker fans to have some incredible championships in that time. And now we have this super team on our hands with LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook. We obviously did in 2020, but we are back with vengeance. It's revenge season, baby.
It is, bro. I mean, speaking about, the OO era that you were talking about that we grew from, that was our foundation. I mean, we were blessed, bro. 7 out of 10 years, we went to the finals, right? We won 5 of them. Should have won 6. Honestly, should have won 7, right? But
maybe 7, yeah.
Dude, I mean, if Shaq stayed healthy, maybe we could have won some more, but that's all good. But other than that, yeah, we gotta get right into this new Laker season, this new Laker team. It's crazy how everything just flip-flopped and we got a brand new team, man. I mean, how you feeling so far about the roster and the changes? I mean, we'll break it down one by one, but in general, we let go of people again, just like we did from 2019 to 2020, and then just like we did this recent year that passed, and now we're on to a new year. So how you feeling?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like we pretty much have an entirely new team since that bubble team that won the championship. And so, I was kind of iffy about it when we did lose a few of those guys from the championship team. And then to now, we've pretty much reduced the entire team with an exception of LeBron James, Anthony Davis, maybe Jared Dudley if he's coming back. And then we also got to pick back up Dwight. So he's back on the team now. So we've had a weird transition as Laker fans. I mean, we won the championship. Thank God we did, especially in the year that, it was. We don't have to go into it. We know what happened, but that championship meant a lot for us Laker fans. And I think especially for us going back to, us growing up with the Kobe and Shaq era. But I'm very excited, man. I think this team has a lot of potential to be one of the best teams we've seen on the court. I mean, we're going to dive into it a little bit more, but with the Nets especially and how they've built that roster, and now the Lakers can have their big three as well. I think it's pretty cool what the Lakers are doing. It's kind of the first that we've seen a super team on paper on a Laker roster like this. I can't think of any other team, at least in recent Laker history, where we've had 3 stars. And, like I said, this is on paper. Obviously, we had fantastic teams with Derek Fisher, Robert Ory. I can keep naming Pau Gasol, all these big names, right? But none like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook.
100%, bro. I mean, you were just talking about how, the teams we grew up to with like Fisher, Horry, and then we had Kobe, Pau, Lamar, Fisher again. I mean, it's weird, right? We were just talking about how the team kind of changes its identity every season. I mean, I think that's part of the modern day NBA, right? It's like we're so accustomed to just keeping that loyalty, right? That same like foundation pieces, but it's just today's NBA. It is what it is. But man, we like you just said, Dylan, dude, we're stacked. We're freaking stacked. Like, what do you mean, bro? We got a Hall of Fame starting five, bro. You know what I mean? Like, what?
We stacked and we spend in racks, baby. That's the Laker motto.
Hey, let's go. Let's
Okay,
go.
so Raz, get this. I'm gonna rack
Yeah.
off real quick the Laker roster. And now, just to preface, if anyone's listening to this, we are recording this on August 12th. So if there is any additions or any trades since this, just be aware. But to knock things off, we got LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza, former Laker, Kent Bazemore, former Laker, Wayne Ellington, former Laker, Marc Gasol, THT is back again, Dwight Howard, Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn,
Steal.
Austin Reeves on a two-way contract, and none other than UCLA Los Angeles native Russell Westbrook.
It's huge. I mean, let's dive right into Russ, man. I mean, the names you just named, former Lakers, right?
Yep.
It's great for us to see, and I'm sure everyone viewing right now, sitting back, if they watched the Lakers in that O era, the late O era with Ariza, and then they had Bazemore, they had Ellington. Like, it's great to see, right? But dude, if we're talking about the Lakers team right now and Russ, I mean, Kobe, what did Kobe say in 2016, right? He said, if a player, what player that he got asked, what player reminds himself the most about himself? And he said Russ. Now, he's not talking about, the way he's playing the game, but it's just more so mentality, approach, passion. And he said it. He said his grit, competitiveness is like mine, and he gives it 110%. And that's what we need in LA, man, compared to last year's roster. You know what I mean?
Facts, man. I mean, this is something that we even talked about watching last season, whereas like the Lakers come out in the third quarter just looking dead. No one has any energy. No one's ready to play. No one's ready to hop on the court and play with emotion. And that's really what Kobe was for this Laker team. And now that we have someone, not only Russell Westbrook, we also have LeBron James, who gets intensified. And I think those guys are going to build off of one another. You have Anthony Davis, who we've seen him get emotional on the court before. You're mixing, I mean, Dwight Howard. Look at Dwight Howard already. We've seen him just in this press conference, in the presser, even on Instagram Live. He's bringing the energy.
Bend your knees.
Bend your knees, baby.
Dude, that's goated. I feel you. Go ahead. Yeah, that's goated.
You bring these guys together. We are going to have this melting pot of raw emotion, of basketball passion, of guys who have something to prove. Everyone's calling these guys old. So I don't know, but back to Russell Westbrook, Raz, what do you think?
I think it's gonna fit. Now, a lot of people, and I'm sure you've heard, what's up. People want to talk about how he's horrible at spacing. People want to talk about his shot selection, which is trash. I admit it. Now, I'm sure you feel the same way. Do you right? Russ does too much sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But when you pair him up with LeBron and AD, and when you pair him up with this timeline in his career, now look at James Harden, right? James and Russ, if you compare these guys, and I'm sure you agree, bro, their ego is above the roof, right? And James made it work with the Nets with two ISO players. And if anything, one of the two top players, right? ISO players in the last 10 years, including James, that's three top ISO players. So I think it's part of Russ's timeline to come to LA. Like we were just discussing, right? The intensity, the emotion, being an LA native, he's going to fit right in. I think as long as he takes the third role, which he has to. I think he knows it. I think Rob, LeBron, AD talked to him. I don't think it's something that Russ is going to come and be like, yo, I'm the macho guy. I think it's going to smooth sail, and he's going to take the load off of LeBron and sometimes AD. AD can't take any load off, though. I think AD needs to go hard. We'll get into that, though.
Yeah, well said. I think you're spot on with that. I think, Russell Westbrook coming into this team is going to be that definitive third guy for this roster. There's no doubt Anthony Davis is going to be that primary guy. And I'm going to even say Anthony Davis has something to prove this season just because of, his injuries. People call him soft, especially in the paint, with just how much he gets on the ground. Granted, it is probably a little bit safer for him to take those falls, but, like you said, I do think Anthony Davis has a lot to prove. LeBron James is obviously LeBron James. This guy is probably top 3, if not top 2 players of all time. And so you just got to take into consideration of all things. Russell Westbrook is here to be a ball handler, to be a passer, to be a teammate, and to be a top tier role player. And with a guy of his caliber and his skill, there's no doubt he's going to be able to make those adjustments. There's just no way in hell he's not going to be able to. My one concern though, and we could talk about this, was shooting.
Oh yeah, I agree.
The initial thought was like, because we were talking about Buddy Hield, right? We were talking very much so before Russell Westbrook even happened. We were talking about Buddy Hield coming to the Lakers.
It was random.
It was exactly. It was random. We were just like, yeah, Buddy Hield, he's going to come in. He's going to shoot. He's going to be our perfect go-to shooter. And all of a sudden out of the blue, we get this call, Russell Westbrook to LA, and we are just blown away. And at first, a lot of people weren't very excited about it. People were very speculative. Oh, the Lakers are not hot shooters. They're not going to be able to shoot. They're going to have to rely on going in the paint. Where's their center? AD's going to have to play the 5. LeBron's going to play the 4. How is this going to work out? But no, dude. The GOAT Rob Pelinka got it done. He added the shooting staff.
GOAT.
You could say that again, Raz.
GOAT.
Thank you. We added some serious shooters to this team. Should we just go into it? I mean, I think we spoke on Russ enough.
Yeah, no, definitely. Other than the only thing I would, mention as well with Russ in the lineup is lob threat is back, baby. You know what I'm saying? That 2020 team, Howard, LeBron, bro, Russ, Howard, LeBron. Anyways, you already know it's about to work out. The Laker family could watch and they could just wait and see what the heck's going to go down. But let's get into it. The shooters, man. Rob pulled off some shooters, bro. That was the word on the streets all of last year. You know what I mean? All of last year. And boom, he said, what? Tell him the stats, bro. This man went crazy, bro.
This man went absolutely crazy, Raz. And the biggest steal of the shooters, in my opinion, was Malik Monk, formerly on the Charlotte Hornets. Fantastic shooter. This 23. Guy was averaging. He's 23 years old, going into his 5th season in the league. And believe it or not, he took a minimum contract. This guy was meant to get paid, and he came to the Lakers specifically to win on a championship team, to play with these stars, and to show everyone and show the world he's ready for this bright light, and he's ready to go to an NBA Finals and win his first championship. Now, just really quickly, Malik Monk last season shot pretty well, to be fully honest with you, Raz. He shot over 40%. He averaged just a total of 12 points per game, but I really like his game. I think he's going to
better than Kuz. Sorry, I had to throw in that slander.
We'll talk about Kuz momentarily, but I think Malik Monk is going to be huge on this team. And then to back that up, potentially another starter, we don't know yet, but former Laker Wayne Ellington, who's shooting, I believe, 43% from the 3-point line. So what do you think, Raz? Those two shooters alone.
Dude, shooters. That's it. It's as simple as that, right? Like the fact that you got LeBron and Russ on the lineup now to find these open guys. Russ likes shooters as well. Russ needs shooters. Like he'll drive in, sometimes do too much, but that's cool. We want him to get contact. We want him to go to the line. I think he'll improve his free throws. But dude, the fact that even just these are just 2 guys we're naming, right? There's still Melo, right? There's still even Trevor Ariza in the playoffs. He's like a 37% 3-point shooter, right? From his statistics. Now we know he's a little older, but I think he'll tap in once time comes in. And even Kent Bazemore for the last 3 seasons, I think he's averaging about 40 to 43% from 3. Now, one more thing I want to mention about Wayne Ellington, the one stat you told me. Now I don't remember the exact number, but off the screen, isn't he shooting like up in the 80s, the high 80s?
Dude, it was off the chain. It was like 82 or 83% 3-point field goal percentage off of a pick.
Bro, so, just imagine AD setting a pick. Big AD.
Pick. Set the high pick, baby.
Dwight and AD setting a pick for this guy, bro. I'm pretty sure he's going to try to tap back into that flow, And we got to my bad. We gotta, mention one sentence I want to mention. Now we're talking about our shooters. We got our shooters. Rob made it happen, right? The stats are there. One main thing I want to talk about this new team is that, yeah, we're old, right? We're old. Cool. That's fine. Age is experience, in my opinion. You look at the 97-98 Bulls, average age 33.8. Average age for the Lakers, if Melo were to start, 33.6. Cool. Nice. Now, on top of that, former Lakers coming back to LA, right? Rob has a plan. I feel like he's forming this team for a reason. These guys are coming back, right, to play the game of basketball, to play for the Lakers. And they're going to have a purpose, unlike last roster, right? We had egos. There was people trying to still figure out their role as an NBA player, stuff like that, which we could get into more later. But Rob has a plan with this team, bringing in the, old cats.
Yeah, great point. And something else to add to that, Raz, that I think is actually pretty crazy is more than half of this team has played alongside Kobe Bean Bryant. I don't know what you want to make of that. I don't know what this means long term. I don't know what this means in terms of this team's passion and grit and focus and determination. But just to have a crew that's played with the Mamba himself in the purple and gold is something to at least acknowledge. So I'm super excited about that. I think this is going to be fantastic to watch these guys play. We saw LeBron James already tweet about his age and people talking down on him about, oh, you guys are old. You guys are going to be slow. All these young cats in the league are going to be able to smoke you guys.
Haters,
bro. These guys are so good. These guys are going to play on the court with grace and they're going to beat them with experience. So, I'm just excited, man.
Dude, honestly, bro, it's a good time to be a Laker fan. Thankfully, we're blessed. We've seen it all in the 2000 era and all. Obviously, we didn't see Showtime Lakers, right? I mean, if we were to be born another lifetime, I'm sure you and I would both agree we'd want to be born in the Forum era, right? It would be absolutely insane. But it's crazy, bro. And like the transition, I wanted to talk about real quick, Dylan, about what was beneficial in the 2020 team, what wasn't beneficial in the last year's team, the 2021 team, and like what's really beneficial in this 2022 team. Now, in my opinion, the 2020 team, we had the Twin Towers, right? McGee and Howard.
Yeah.
We had that Rondo 2000 era basketball pick and roll. AD was doing just fine. LeBron took time to get back to where he was, brought back his defense in the playoffs in the bubble. We had a good identity on that team, right? Do you remember? Of course you remember. By the first 3 weeks, we had like some crazy chemistry going for us. And last year, it's like we never found our stride. We never found our identity, and we had no pick and rolls. We had no lobster identity. We had no Lake Show style basketball fast break, other than Caruso or LeBron on the run. So, how do you feel like the transition of 2020, 2021, and now this year? Like, what's to come, bro? What's to freaking come, man? Because it's coming.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because, one of the big things that happened in the bubble was KCP and Kuzma both of which are no longer with this team. And those guys played massive minutes. They balled out. They did everything they could for us to win that championship, and respectfully so. Last season, we came in with a lot of changes on the team. We lost Rondo, one of our definitive leaders. We lost Dwight Howard. We lost JaVale McGee. And we picked up six-man Montrezl Harrell. And
he's exciting.
He's definitely an exciting player. He brought the energy. He brought the emotion as well, which we like to see. But there was just an issue with it, with how he was being played, in what situations. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out. And it seemed frustrating from both parties, as a Laker fan and as someone that likes to encourage, to see TREZZ play well. He wasn't getting the minutes. Lakers weren't playing well. It was difficult to watch.
Agreed.
One of the things that we touched on earlier was Dwight Howard coming back. And I think Dwight coming back is exactly what this team needed, because if you recall, back when we signed TREZZ, moments before, we were ready to sign Dwight Howard. He signed the contract. The Lakers got it back. They were ready to sign their end of it. And out of the blue, Montrezl Harrell signs with the Los Angeles Lakers on a player option 2-year contract for
Crazy.
less than what he would have made in a Clipper uniform. So not only did he take less money, but he also decided to come play with LeBron James and Anthony Davis on a 2-year player contract. And unfortunately, it didn't work out. But what if we would have kept Dwight? Because I do think that there's, basketball aside, I do think there's a power behind, teamwork. That's something that Kobe spoke very much about. Teamwork, like team coordination, communication, having a brother bond, like a brotherhood, on the team. And that's something we lost with Dwight and JaVale McGee and just a whole bunch of those guys, Rondo included. So going into this team now having Dwight Howard back, and he signed immediately when he had his offer, which was awesome to see.
He said, this is my home. I just went on a vacation, right?
Yep. And he even said, he wants his damn parade. Rightfully dude.
We need that. But dude, I mean, look, you solid points, man. Solid points, really. Like, that whole thing with Dwight and TREZZ was so weird. Dwight's tweet, and then he had to delete it. I don't know what the hell that was. But having Dwight back, bro, that, like you said, big piece to our championship run. Rondo as well was a big piece. Would have loved to have him back, but it's all good. We got the other guys. We got our shooters. We got Russ, of course. But, with TREZZ, man, it's like almost like I know you're a big fan of TREZZ, Dylan. And, me too. His excitement, his energy he was the only guy that looked motivated. We could hop into that real quick right after this, but Vogel never really, I feel like he didn't appreciate TREZZ, man. Like maybe in the beginning, and then the last, like, what was it? 3, 4, dude, it's like, I remember, to everyone watching, Dylan and I do Instagram lives on halftime, post game on Instagram, Laker Boost, Razz Topics, and we covered the whole season, right? And do you remember towards the end, TREZZ's minutes were decreasing to like 16 minutes a game, like with 2 months left.
And that was when Anthony Davis was injured too.
Dude, yeah. So it was like Vogel was almost preparing TREZZ to not get his minutes. And it was like, it's disrespectful. Like you used to always say, he's our plug off the bench, like kind of like Caruso was. And we like, you would literally always say like, yo, why the hell is TREZZ not in the game? Like we needed him in those moments.
Yeah, facts. I mean, remembering and looking back, we primarily played Andre Drummond, who's no longer with the team. He came here on a buyout deal. He had nothing to lose. He came to Los Angeles and stunk it up.
Kwame Brown 2.0.
Kwame Brown 2.0. And
that's what I say, but he's obviously better than Kwame, guys, right?
Of course. But I mean, and then you give minutes to Marc Gasol, which Marc Gasol to the Lakers really quickly, because he is on this roster again this year. Marc Gasol to the Lakers is a very, very small contract. It's very controversial. People want him. People don't want him. Raz and I both talked about this last season. We said at the very beginning, we asked the question to everyone. We said, is Marc Gasol going to be a Laker at the end of the season? And we both said yes, for the sole fact that this guy is only making $2.6 million a year. He spreads the floor. He could knock down a three, and he's a pretty decent passer. Now, he's very slow. We did see that, but he has been playing on this offseason with the with the Spain Olympic team. He did retire from the Olympics, but he does have a little bit left in the tank. And even if he does come and he's just able to be a passer, we have shooters for him now, and he's going to be spreading the floor. So if he wants to take that shot, it's going to be open for him. Do I think he's going to make it to the end of the season on the Lakers? I don't know. Maybe not.
Good assumption, man. That's a really good point. Now, Gasol last season, when we brought him in, when Rob brought him in, his role was to space the floor, right? Because he could pass, like you just mentioned, to facilitate. I think he's really good on the offensive end, with especially the roster now. I think he's going to make things happen with our shooters. But, his nickname, shout out to Artavius from our Instagram lives, Dylan. He calls him
Artavius.
Yeah, he calls him Marc Gasol. You know what I mean? He calls him Marc Gasol. And on defense, yeah, he's a former defensive player of the year. But I feel like in the modern day NBA, his feet is not moving too quick to space out, go to the three, the corner three to defend. Like he's always kind of late. But when it's that 1v1 defense in the under the rim, I think he's pretty good. But good point. Good assumption on how, if GASOL might not be a Laker at the end of the season. Like, I actually feel you, bro. I didn't think about it that way. Maybe he might be gone halfway through the season.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see. I actually pulled up his stats really quick because I was curious just to see what the number was. This dude was shooting 41% from the 3-point line last season.
At the end though, right? Kind of like
that's the average of last season. I don't know exactly, but
that's the average.
That's his average from last season.
What a boss.
And fun fact, at one point in his career in 2016, this guy was shooting 67% from the 3-point line. So, I mean, this guy can shoot. He could spread the floor. He's not the traditional center. But I do think that there's a possibility that we can see him on the court, potentially starting even alongside Anthony Davis. But regardless, enough of this Laker current roster, Razz. We got to keep this going, and we want to talk about the era of super teams in the NBA, because this is something that is kind of weird, kind of taking the league by storm. We had this one, a few years ago where it was one superstar per team. You had Kobe on his own team. You had Dwayne Wade running it over in Miami, and then he teamed up with Chris Bosh and LeBron James. And ever since then, we've seen this weird trend of trio of super players, super teams being built. So what do you think? Being said, just to name out a few teams maybe to touch on, we got the Brooklyn Nets. We have the Miami Heat again, who have a really nice team.
Insane.
We have the Lakers, obviously, who have their super team now. I mean, you can pick and choose a few here and there as well. But Raz, what do you think about this?
I feel like the foundation of it, the whole thing is kind of like, we saw the big three in the Boston Celtics, and then we saw the big three in the Miami.
Yep.
But I'm not trying to put any hate on Adam Silver's name. I think he's a great commissioner. I think he's for the players. Somewhat, not in the last year and a half with his decisions, but money's money, business is business. But I think the transition of, rest in peace, David Stern, to Adam Silver, I think David Stern was more strict, disciplined, as we saw with the veto with the CP3, which was due to because the NBA owned the New Orleans Hornets at the time.
Yep.
But I feel like it's crazy. It's crazy. I think Brooklyn restarted up this kind of super team vibe, because the year before Brooklyn, which I'm sure you agree, was just two superstars a team. I'm talking about from the second KD left Warriors. Right after that, it was always two superstars a team.
Yeah.
And then James Harden, Kyrie, and KD form, which is probably unheard of in NBA history. You don't have the three top ISO players of the last decade on the same team in a modern NBA shooting era. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. So that was like kind of like a ricochet effect. And now you got everyone, like you just mentioned. You got Heat, you got the Lakers, which again, it's kind of considered a super team to media, because obviously we got a bunch of future Hall of Famers on our team, but they're not like at the level of Kyrie, KD, and Harden, right? They're not. It's going to be a collective effort more so with the Lakers, but we're back at it, bro. And it is what it is. And I think it's entertaining to fans, but it's not what we're used to from that 2000 era.
No, by no means is this the 2000 era. It's far removed, far from that. But to your point about the East, I mean, yeah, there's some insane teams that are being built right now in the East. I do quickly want to just highlight this Heat team, because these guys have one of the craziest rosters, maybe even better than the Nets. These guys have Jimmy Butler leading this crew. They have Tyler Hero. Let's not forget, this guy's a stud. They just picked up Kyle Lowry. They
Insane.
have Bam Adebayo. They have.
He's still got to improve.
He's still got to improve, but I mean, he was with this USA team. He didn't play that great, but he's still a great player. Let's not get it confused.
He needs to get bigger, bro.
He does.
He needs to play big.
He does, but I mean, he's only been in the league for what, like 4 or 5 years now. So I mean, he's still a relatively new player. He's going to be fantastic. And then let's not forget, man, Victor Oladipo. This guy's coming off an
Underrated.
injury, highly underrated. He has something to prove. And
Yep.
so when you think of this Heat team, and I haven't even mentioned PJ Tucker yet, NBA
Dude,
champion PJ Tucker,
he snaked out the Bucks.
dude.
I love PJ. He snaked out the Bucks.
And one last name just to throw at you, Duncan Robinson. This guy's a shooter. The Heat have
Isn't he sorry? Isn't he the it's the craziest deal in NBA history. Undrafted player, which is still new to the NBA, $90 million contract for 5 years. Never, ever has happened before in NBA history. But could an undrafted, because he was undrafted. Yeah, you know, it's
possibly. I mean, I would be curious to see because, I mean, just to throw out Alex Caruso, who's obviously not with the Lakers anymore. Alex Caruso is on a 3-year, 40 mil, which is just around a little over 10 mil a year. Duncan Robinson is probably just a hair above that for 5 years. No, I mean, he's significantly above it. But I mean, yeah, to your point, yeah. I mean, congrats to Duncan Robinson. This guy's a beast.
I confirmed it. So yeah, 90 mil 5 year undrafted, and he's young. It's never been done before, bro. 90 mil.
It's crazy, man. This Heat team is going to be really nice. And like, to anyone that's a Nets fan, or to anyone that's a Bucks fan, or to anyone that is a Sixers fan. I'm sorry if you're a Sixers fan, but
Same.
this Heat team has really good potential. If they can stay healthy, if they can play good ball, they can hit those shots, and Bam Adebayo improves, we could very easily see a rematch of the 2020 bubble season in this NBA Finals.
Facts, bro. I mean, it's gonna be a good season. I can't wait. I think, you know, you and I are gonna be doing more of these as time goes. We're gonna be covering a lot. We'll cover some NBA. We'll cover, you know, emphasis on the Lakers, as you know, we're Laker faithfuls. But this upcoming season is about to be nuts. I just pray that everyone's healthy across the league, because what we saw last season, due to the bubble tax, as they like to call it, ridiculous.
Absolutely crazy. But yeah, to your point, we are going to keep doing this. I like this. I just want to say, like, I love the Instagram lives. That's where we get crazy. That's where we get energized. But just to be able to come here, a chill, nice environment,
Facts.
maybe some ASMR to some people's ears if they're listening and want to just hear. If they just want to hear us talk, you know, about some Laker basketball or just the NBA or whatever it may be. It is a cool experience. So I'm looking forward to doing this with you, Raz. I think we're gonna have some awesome content. Hopefully, what this can lead to in the future, I'm speaking into existence.
Let's get it.
We can have some former Laker players, maybe even some current Laker players on here, get some questions going to them, because you know, we do this for the culture, man. We do this for the Laker gang. We throw it down, and you know, obviously we have a passion for basketball and for the Lakers, but ultimately we have a bunch of people that enjoy listening to us, and you know, it's just nice to be able to have this opportunity to talk to you, highly intelligent basketball IQ guy, and
Likewise, brother.
just talk about basketball, because that's what we like to do.
Yeah, this was great. And you know, shout out to the people that have been sticking with us over the last year, and shout out to everybody new that's joining us. I think, like you said, right, we really do have a love for it, and it's fun. We're having fun with this, and I personally can't wait for more to come. I'm sure as you are feeling as well. And once that season starts, oh boy, real quick, I think we're going to have a lot more anxiety as Laker fans this year than we did in 2020 and last year, because we have some crazy high expectations, man, even through media, right? Which we could get into on the next topic, on the next episode, stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, this season is going to be probably one of the most entertaining in quite some time to cover as a Laker fan, and I can't wait, Raz. This is going to be a blast, man.
Bro, time needs to fly, bro.
Well, good thing. Just to preview what the next few weeks are going to hold, we have preseason that's coming up very soon. We also have media day as well, and then the start of the season is just a few months away. So we are going to be in the loop of things. Our goal, though, is to be producing these on a weekly basis for you guys. in collaboration with all the efforts on Instagram Live, with the news, with the Instagram Lives that we do there, with the communication, obviously, that we have on those shows. But this is just an additional thing. So if you guys like this, please, 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 if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe and like the video. If you guys are listening on Spotify or any other podcast platform, go ahead and give us Apple, Spotify, whatever may have you. Go ahead and give us a positive review. Leave a comment down below, because we will highlight those in the next episode that leave a positive review or comment on this episode. So with that being said, guys, Raz, you want to say anything else before I close it up?
Yeah, last thing. Sorry to interrupt, my guy. So like, just like you said, right? So if you guys leave a positive review or a comment, right? What Dylan and I kind of want to do is, if you guys leave a comment, we'll start bringing up those comments in our next episodes and kind of like interact with you guys through there virtually, right? So if you leave a comment, we'll talk about it and so on and so on. So let's get it, bro. Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Instagram.
Yep.
Might be a TikTok,
Facebook, maybe. You can find us on all those platforms. At Razz&Dazz podcast, unless if it's already taken, but we should have it.
Imagine.
Razz&Dazz podcast. Go check us out, guys, and thanks again for listening to the first official of many Razz&Dazz basketball podcasts. Peace, guys. Thank you.
Let's go.